It's 11 minutes past 9 o'clock right now, and Sheree Clark from Fork in the Road joins us every Thursday. About this time, you all know that, but when Jackie found out what Sheree was bringing in today, she got very excited because this is one of Jackie's favorite foods in the entire world, and in addition to being a popular food, a lot of people like what we're going to talk about here this morning, they have some pretty cool benefits that go along with them as well. For example, we're talking about avocados. They contain more potassium than something we just got done talking about here a little bit ago, bananas. Everybody hears about bananas and potassium. Avocados have more, which is good news for blood pressure people worried about blood pressure levels. They're high in fiber. Everybody knows the benefit of that. Also, eating avocados appear to improve heart disease risk factors like LDL and HDL, cholesterol, and blood triglycerides. And they are high in nutrients that support eye health. So besides just being awesome to eat, they got a lot of positives.
They are really good for you, yeah. And they're a source of good, healthy fat.
As I say, a lot of people hear fat, but there are such things as good fats.
Absolutely. It's not a, the thing about it is it's a whole food. You're eating an entire thing that came from nature, as opposed to, one of the reasons why oil gets a bad rep, or fat gets a bad rep, is something like oil is an extraction. Like, like olive oil comes from olives, but it's only a part of it. The fiber is gone, for example, as you alluded to. So that's why it's a lot healthier.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about picking avocados before we start. And while I'm talking about picking out avocados, if you want to dip into the guacamole, we're not even going to talk about guacamole today. I just had to bring it for you because I knew how much you love this stuff. So when we're in the store and we're picking avocados, a lot of times people will come up to me and they'll ask me which avocado they should choose. And one of the things I say to them is it's important to know what it is you're going to do with it and when you're going to do it. If you're going to be using it right away, you're going to pick one that's got some give to it, that's a little bit softer.
Now, give near the stem or give in the middle of it?
Give all the way around it. So, and squeeze it gently. Be kind. Don't be ripping on the avocado. The produce people do not like that.
Don't be rough handling the avocado.
But it's just it'll give to a little bit of gentle pressure. You'll be able to feel it. Okay, so that's one way. The other way, sometimes they will turn a darker color. You'll see the green ones are usually not ready to eat, but that's not always the case. It may depend on the varietal. The other thing to know about avocados, you'll notice that these two are shaped slightly different. One's rounder and one's more elongated. The rounder one will typically have a larger pit inside. So you would know that while you might think that the round one looks like the circumference would give it more flesh, that may not be true. Because the pit is taking up a lot more space.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, so something good to know. Okay, so let's talk about what else we can do beside guacamole that everybody loves. That's a savory dish. That's something we eat oftentimes with chips, although not here. We're going to be using heirloom carrots because they have crunch and they're a nice little carrier.
Heirloom carrots.
Heirloom carrots. Aren't they beautiful?
They're beautiful, and they are in season right now. Every time I go to the market, I see these guys all over the place.
Which means they will never be cheaper or better, so that's a good thing to buy. So, so guacamole is a good thing. It's a savory dish. But I made you 3 other concoctions that are all sweet.
And these are all made with avocado.
With avocado. Okay.
So sweet. So we're used to the savory. We're going sweet now.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the dish and the spoon. That is a mousse. And it's peanut butter mousse.
Peanut butter mousse with avocados.
Yes, exactly. So the star of the show is going to be the avocado because I've already said that that's what's in there. I've also added a little bit of coconut oil. And you'll also notice that there is peanut butter flavor, and the peanut butter flavor comes from peanut butter powder.
That does taste like peanut butter.
It does taste like peanut butter, exactly. Yeah. I sweetened it just a little bit with maple syrup, and then I garnished it with some coconut because I wanted to break up the color.
That's what it was. I knew there was a sweetness in there, maple syrup. The maple flavoring and the peanut flavoring, outstanding. I just want to let you know, I take maple syrup and dump it in my peanut butter jar at home. So that's what this reminds me of.
There
it's
you
really
go.
Good.
Perfect, yeah. And we've got a good healthy fat in there. It's nice and fluffy. I made it yesterday, so it's set up nice.
That is really good.
And I really like it. Actually, that would be good on bananas. Why not? Let's go to town.
Is there anything special we need to do so that it doesn't turn it from going too brown?
You mean the avocados in general?
Correct.
Yes. In general, some citrus will help preserve it. So a lot of times you'll hear people put lemon juice or lime juice on top of their guacamole. The other trick that people use, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale, but I do it, is put the pit into the guacamole if you're using guacamole.
I've heard
and
that before.
that's supposed to preserve it. I don't know if it does or doesn't, but I'm not taking any chances. I got the pit, I stick them in there. What
Mine
the
as
heck?
well.
Yeah, exactly. So
This is really good.
I thought you would
That's
like
very
that.
good. You wouldn't
Okay.
think peanut butter at all, but that tastes like peanut butter.
Then I wanted to do something that used a little bit of chocolate. So I did a 2-ingredient truffle. So the 2 ingredients, guess what the first one is? Avocado. The second ingredient is chocolate morsels. Now,
You'll eat chocolate morsels?
well, I chose the kind that don't have dairy or nut in them. So
Okay.
that you'll notice that on the package here. So you're going to get a little bit different result because I picked one that is a non-dairy and nut-free one.
Okay.
So you can try it. It's just those 2 ingredients. I melted the chocolate in a double boiler, and then I pureed it in a food processor with the avocado, and then let it firm up and turn it into little ball truffles. It's not exactly like a regular chocolate because it's completely dairy-free, it's completely nut-free, it's soy-free.
So it wouldn't have the smoothness, or a little bit more of the smoothness if it had dairy and nuts?
It would also have a little bit of a different flavor profile. So you choose what chocolate you want to use, but all you have to do is melt it, and you could take a chocolate bar if you wanted to, and combine it with the avocado, let it firm up.
How much chocolate compared to avocado?
I used, great question, I used this package and 1 avocado.
Okay.
That's it.
Really?
That's it. So
That's good.
and it made 24 of those truffles. So I mean, there you go. It's a potluck, and you're in a pinch. You got it made.
Done.
It's
Boom.
very good. Those are cute, very easy to just, throw in a cute platter and
Yep. And
go for a Halloween party or something like that.
keep them in the fridge or freeze them, and then you'll have them on hand for a long
Wow.
time.
Yeah, but Alec Baldwin would
Great
like
idea.
those. So
Yeah,
that'd be good. Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Very good.
Then we made a frozen concoction. So in the and because the weather had been nice, I thought, well, this is perfect. And of course, today it turns cold. But this is a frozen concoction. And what I did with this was and these are silicone freezer tubes that you can make popsicles out of. Yep, there you go. You squeeze it
Little
right out.
push-ups.
Push-ups, exactly. So what's in there is coconut milk, avocado, lime, and a little bit of honey. And that's
Oh,
it.
this is going to be good.
It's really good.
So what's the basis of a avocado that makes it so good Alton Brown, who is one of my favorite chefs, loves avocados because he's like, it's basically your butter, a substitute for anything.
Yes.
But what do you consider it as in order to make all these delicious
What
dishes?
what it does is it lends a creamy factor, and that's partly because of the thing that it gets indicted for. It gets indicted for being high in fat, but fat is good. Fat, any chef will tell you, fat is what gives umami or the good flavor, the mouthfeel, the really good texture to food.
The smoothness.
Smoothness, creaminess, it's all those things. We have to have that in life. For us physically, it's important to keep our joints lubricated. If you think about it, you need oil in a machine. We're machines too. So it's all of those good, wonderful things. And it's got a little bit of a benign flavor in and of itself. Think about the guacamole. What you taste in that is the garlic and the onion and cilantro, all of those, and the little bit of lime juice. You don't necessarily taste the avocado itself, so it becomes like a carrier.
It's a vehicle, yeah.
Right.
And why wouldn't you, if you can replace a creamy ice cream or butter and use something that's good for you, but still have just the same creaminess and flavor, why wouldn't
This
you?
is really good.
Yeah, I thought you would like that. Well, and people, like for example, people who eat toast for breakfast in the morning, not my favorite thing, but hey, we're not judging here. Instead of putting butter on the toast, slice some avocado on there. It's got fat, it's got
didn't even
fiber,
think of
it's
that.
got all of those things, and it gives you that creamy, it moistens it. Because if you eat dry toast, it's dry.
Now, is there any time of year that avocados are a little cheaper in the grocery store?
Well, here's a funny thing. I was going to tell you this at the beginning of the segment. I made a kind of a bad decision. I decided I was going to do avocados before I did my homework, and then there was an avocado strike that just ended. So the cost of avocados right now is pretty high.
I thought it was.
Yeah, it is high, and there's a reason for that, and that is because there's a little bit of a shortage. They're typically available year-round because they're grown in places like Mexico. But if you notice in the store, like the average cost of an avocado that I paid was $2.50.
Oh, wow.
I found a couple for $1.79. I did a little bit of shopping, but you can find them for $1 or less sometimes during when they're more abundant.
Peak season.
So like anything else, yes, they're seasonal, but it depends on growing conditions, it depends on labor conditions, depends on a lot of different things.
So just keep your eyes peeled and watch for sales, or just go to the
and
the
don't
market.
decide what you're going to do on your segment until you check to see if the prices are reasonable.
So if you're coming in to do a segment on the show, check the ads first, is what she's saying, right?
Precisely, yeah.
But again,
Very
the magical things you can do with an avocado. Now, if people want to follow along with where you're going to be next or what you're doing next, or actually maybe get some recipes.
Absolutely. Go to my website, fork-road.com. The other thing that you could do is email me directly at info@fork-road.com. You know I love to have questions from viewers. I love suggestions. I've gotten some suggestions actually for some future segments, and I'm looking forward to sharing what those are. So,
yay.
Yeah.
Okay, see, here's what we're doing. We're taking your
Peanut butter mousse
and putting it on this thing here.
I love it. I love
And
it.
what are all the ingredients of this again?
That one has got coconut milk,
Drop it
avocado,
all
lime juice, and honey. That's it.
Good stuff.
Very good.
Sheree,
Yeah, I thought
as
you might
always.
like it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're
we're keeping all
welcome.
this for right now until we're done.
We're just going to keep eating.
Yeah, we'll be right back.